A gold primer fit for our times. Why the shiny metal is pertinent in 21st century. Do you hear and see buy gold often and in suspiciously worded advertisements? Gold is ripe for such appeals. It is a symbol of wealth, but the layman knows little about it for investment and wealth protection. One cannot blame him. The variety of applicable strategies and available stocks are enough to make a man cross-eyed. This is one reason why, for 6 years, I hosted the Gold Newsletter podcast and sought to demystify gold and other precious metals. The go-to book. E.B. Tucker was one podcast guest who cut through the smoke and mirrors to make precious metals investment understandable. His May 2020 book, Why Gold, Why Now, 236 pages, makes a compelling case that this era of unprecedented worldwide monetary expansion is precisely the time to utilize precious metals. The subtitle, The War Against Your Wealth and How to Win It, has a touch of hyperbole, but it indicates he believes there is a war against your wealth and that gold can defend against it. There is more than a kernel of truth to his assertion. Divided into 3 sections: 1, history; 2, today; and 3, an action plan, Why Gold, Why Now is a primer targeted at the newbie. Gold bugs, particularly those who agree with Tucker's optimism regarding a long-term bull run, would best skip the first section. The second section injects spice with the claim, this time is different. For so long, many of us have heard about the last days of the US dollar, or the Canadian loonie for that matter. Yet the dollar remains the world's reserve currency, and you have to go back decades for the last time measured inflation exceeded low single digits. Tucker contends that unsustainable fiscal trajectories laid bare by COVID-19 lockdowns are worse than ever before and are driving fiat currencies to the edge. In addition, he argues Bitcoin is neither the answer to fiat currencies nor a substitute for gold. Tucker contends Bitcoin, whose volatility is evident, is likely a US government-planned venture to shepherd people into traceable digital transactions. That means no escape from taxation, inflation, and negative interest rates. Although I had heard murmurings before, Tucker swayed me towards his view. The real meat and potatoes, however, comes in the final section, the how-to. Tucker addresses the gamut, from physical coins to ETFs to junior mining stocks, along with security concerns. He acknowledges, though, his membership on the board of Metalla Royalty and Streaming. This affinity for royalty companies is obvious, and they garner disproportionate attention. This is where gold bugs could find value, given a deep dive on this topic, unlike anywhere else in Why Gold, Why Now. Those 2 ingredients, the Bitcoin assessment and the streaming explanation, make the book fresh and distinct. In addition, its arrival right as COVID-19 panic was gathering steam made it pertinent. Beyond a few years, though, Why Gold, Why Now will stand as an accessible, concise book for those wishing to make a start with gold. Possession for wealth protection, miners for gains. For those wanting to dip their feet in the water, there are an array of ways to engage with gold and other precious metals such as silver and platinum. The ultimate approach to wealth protection against the inflation tax, as opposed to the pursuit of gains, is physical possession of recognizable coins such as the Canadian maple leaf and/or the South African Krugerrand. You can buy directly from producers such as the Royal Canadian Mint. Otherwise, look to established dealers such as the American Gold Exchange, run by my friend Dana Samuelson, or others in the Professional Numismatists Guild. My preference for liquidity, compactness, and purity is 1-ounce maple leaf gold bullion coins. After that foundation, one can gain leverage on precious and industrial metals by investing in mining companies. Depending on your risk tolerance, this can be through explorers, high, developers, moderate, or producers, low. Streaming and royalty companies do much of the work for you, researching mines to partner with and deliver more stable income streams. Vancouver, British Columbia is the world's capital for mining headquarters, with more than twice as many offices as Toronto. Most of the explorers and junior miners, typically those with a market capitalization of $5 million or less, are listed on the TSX Venture Exchange in Calgary, Alberta. The largest Canadian mining companies, such as Barrick Gold and Agnico Eagles Mines, list on the New York Stock Exchange or the Toronto Stock Exchange. Please tread carefully and take your time before placing your savings into speculative securities, the explorers and developers. For many years, I worked with Brian London of Gold Newsletter, and I'm glad to recommend his monthly newsletter and weekly alerts for deeper insights and ongoing opportunities in mining. A complimentary newsletter option is Adrian Day's Global Analyst. With a penchant for mining stocks, Day is a British portfolio manager and friend based in Puerto Rico, and I read all his updates carefully. Day also authored Investing in Resources, How to Profit from the Outsized Potential and Avoid the Risks, 352 pages, 2010. Investing in Resources offers a compelling long-term case for mining stocks, but it is less accessible to the layman than his newsletters. Gold Newsletter traces its legacy to the one man who can take almost single-handed credit for the 1974 legalization of gold ownership in the United States, James Jim Blanchard of New Orleans, Louisiana, 1943 to 1999. He smuggled in a coin from Canada as a show of civil disobedience, and his autobiography, written with help from Gary Alexander, is one of my favorite books for inspiration, Confessions of a Gold Bug, 297 pages, 1990.